Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is POV, and welcome back to another week of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamonds Unbreakable, week 16. Right off the bat, let me just say that this was not my personal favorite episode of the series so far, mostly because on the one side, I wasn't a big fan of this part in the manga, and second of all, because I felt that this episode felt rather slow. It's slow and uninteresting. Maybe it's just personally because I didn't like the story that I just didn't like this episode. But aside from that, you just have to be honest with yourself. The animation was not that top notch this episode. There were a lot of lazy animated shots and lazily animated moments. Be honest with yourself about that. Regardless, let me just get into the overview as always. The episode starts off with Jotaro asking Josuke, telling him that they're gonna go hunting. Josuke makes a little bit of a joke, saying that, "Oh, we're gonna go hunting for girls," and Jotaro replies that Akira actually mentioned that he shot the arrow at a freaking rat, and that the rat suddenly survived. Now, some people may ask themselves, like, why does Jotaro want to go after these rats if they are stand users? And I think the most simplest reason is just the fact that the big difference with Iggy and Pet Shop, for example, with the Fool and Pet Shop, is that they were obedient to a certain person, and as you could tell by this episode, and later on in the episode as we get to it, these rats do not give a fuck. Like, they are legit murdering others and murdering people. So I can see why Jotaro found this a problem. Like, imagine giving the stance to a gorilla. Oh wait, we got something similar in part 3. But yeah, well, imagine that. Like, Strength was his name, I think. Like, he was doing whatever the fuck he wanted, and that was a serious, dangerous ass stand. So, in a way, like, completely legit reason why Jotaro would go after this rat. Then, as they're laying traps, as Jotaro is informing Josuke about this stand user, Josuke finds somewhere in between tall grass, like this cube mesh of rat meat. As Jotaro sticks a stick into it and pulls it back out, like blood starts like spitting out, and Jotaro comes to the conclusion that like the rats melted together. Something like the stand of that rat melted these rats together into a mesh of a meat cube, which is rather fucked up. Aside from that, I also want to bring up the fact that the censorship in this episode was not too bad. Like, it was censored to an understandable degree. Nothing like Terraform Mars, which was just plain old circles of black. This was just the shape of the object that was gory, was blacked out, but you could still kind of tell what was going on with the silhouette. So I personally didn't mind it. Next up, Josuke and Jotaro decide to go into a house nearby where they believe that the rat is hiding. As Jotaro goes upstairs to check the place out, Josuke stays downstairs and comes in contact with the first rat. The rat pulls out his stand. I don't think this the stand. The first rat, I think it's the second rat whose stand is called Bug Eaten, but the first one didn't really get a name. But I will just go with the name of Bug Eaten 1. He fights off Josuke. Josuke shoots one of like the metal bullets that Jotaro gave him. He hits him, but not fatally. So like the rat still manages to shoot with his stand, some form of mechanic sniper stand, shoot at Josuke, and Josuke manages to reflect this with like a nearby frying pan. The rat eventually just dies off. Jotaro comes downstairs and tells him like, all right, like we ain't done. There's a second rat, apparently. So because I just fought him off, and like Jotaro's hand is all fucked up because apparently he decided to, for some fucking reason, stop the bullet with Star Platinum's hand. Which I also want to give huge props to. Like seeing Star Platinum again is absolutely great. Like I love his. I think his part 4 design is my personal favorite design of all the parts that are shown. Just the light blue with purplish, the navy blue with purplish. I really love that combination. Shouts out to that. As they're going outside to track the other rat, they start noticing like the footprints of the second rat, of Bug Eaten too. And at one point the footprints just vanishes, and we get this very typical Jojo moment where you just get random information explained to you just for plot reasons. Today's explanation was about how certain animals use backtracking, which is they leave footprints, but then in order to confuse their predators, they just walk back the same on the same steps that they on the same tracks that they left, and then just fuck off somewhere else. And this rat apparently did that. So Jotaro and Josuke, they're cornered. They don't know what to do because that rat could be anywhere, and he knows that people are coming after him. So Bug Eaten is gonna fuck them up. And I mean, Jotaro has this idea of, you know what, like, I will, Josuke, you stay there, like, I will go after him, and you try and pinpoint his location when he shoots me. Jotaro manages to dodge the first couple of bullets, but then gets hit by others. Josuke becomes a little bit stressed, and he feels so much pressure because he's the one that has to shoot this. In a way, it's like a rat that's this small from all the way far away. It's understandable that he would be nervous, especially since he has to aim it with a freaking sniper bullet. Completely understandable why he's nervous. And Jotaro is just getting shot left and right. I love Jotaro's dedication, honestly. Like him not giving a fuck. He knows that Josuke can heal him, so he'll take the pain, he'll take the hits as long as Josuke manages to defeat the stand. Which Josuke misses the first part, at least. The first bullet, he hits the rock. The rat, Bug Eaten, gets pissed off. He moves aside to get a better aim at Josuke, and we get this wonderful shot of like Josuke holding the telescope like this, and his hand like this. I think manga panel shot recreated in the anime. Absolutely love that you could recognize that pose. And he shoots the final sniper bullet at Bug Eaten, because the issue was that during the first shot, there was a rock between Bug Eaten and Josuke, so Josuke didn't have a well enough shot. So by tricking the rat to letting him know like, oh, like I'm shooting at you, then the rat's gonna move aside and make himself open, which is something that he didn't calculate. And of course, like the power of like these stands of Star Platinum and Crazy Diamond, the fact that they can just shoot bullets out of their hands and use them like as freaking guns is absolutely abnormal and absolutely cool. That's kind of where the episode ends. One thing that I want to point out as well in this episode is the fact that we first get informed that Akira told Jotaro that there was only one rat that got shot, and later in the episode, somewhere in between, we get informed that apparently they find out through Akira that there are 2 rats. So because I don't think people actually go into it, and like I don't think Araki develops more information around the situation. But could it just have been that Akira wanted Jotaro to fucking die? Maybe he knew about the rat and its stand power and said, you know what, like I'll let him think that there's one and let the other one kill him. Was that his plan? Like, I don't know, maybe a revenge plot. I don't know, but we don't really get much development on that little part of the story. Now, back to the 3 points that I enjoy talking about: animation, pacing, and value to the overall plot. Animation, as I mentioned, not the thing I love the most about this episode. I was not happy with the animation. There were certain shots that I absolutely loved. Josuke's telescope pose. The thing that this part has been doing really well, and that is those still shots of these still dramatic shots, all really well done. But otherwise, like, the animation just looked sloppy. I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. Pacing, I felt that this was rather slow, but I guess in the manga, I believe this also took quite a bit of time, a couple of chapters. So I'm kind of glad that they got through it in one episode. At the same time, I personally just felt that this was rather slow. I can see people liking this episode for nostalgic reasons, but I personally just not the greatest fan of this episode or this part of the story. The value to the overall plot, there's no real value to this plot. This is again just like Tonio, this is and Hazamara. This is just one of those in between stories that just happens. Just one of those stand battles that Araki wanted to put in. So no real actual value to the overall plot, unfortunately, with these episodes. Regardless, it was fine. Did not hate it. I just didn't like the animation, but I'm more looking forward to next week's Rohan's adventure, so to say. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Like, I'm trying to stay away from the manga from now on. I'm not trying to compare the two with one another because I want to get that element of surprise and nostalgia when I see the actual moments appearing again. So I'm staying away from the manga for a while. Regardless, tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you really enjoy this episode? What parts did you like about it? What do you think about Jotaro not being able to fight off rats, even with his time stop powers, still getting hit by a good amount of rat bullets? What is your opinion on Buck eating the sniper rats? Leave them all in the comment down below. Hit that like button down below. I would really appreciate it. My name is LPOV. Subscribe if you can. I'm doing these overviews and these reviews every week. I'm also doing Berserk. If you're interested, check my channel out. Regardless, have a good weekend, and if you love fighting games, I hope you enjoy Evo weekends. Goodbye. Bye.